Yeah, speed is his ticket. You can get 60 run grades on him. Some guys will even go as high as 70 and give him a well above average grade for the speed. He is that classic leadoff hitter. He's not a big guy, so he focuses on making contact. He walks more than he strikes out. He's got the speed to steal bases. He could probably even be a little bit more aggressive and instinctive on the bases. The key for him going forward, I think, is going to be to find a defensive home. He's not very good at second base. It's a below-average arm. I think he probably fits best in center field in the long run. But he's still learning out there, I guess is the best way to put it, when he's played out there too. So he's going to have to find a defensive home. If he can do that, he can turn that speed and really fit that kind of classic leadoff profile where he gets on base and can create some havoc on the bases.
I have a little more info on Brad Depperman. I'll get to that in a moment.
Oakland selects draft ID 7393, Milas Drew, a catcher from Missouri State.
The Oakland A's select Drew Milas, a catcher from Missouri State University.
Tell us more about that catcher, Jim.
He's one of the better defensive catchers in college baseball, and anybody who listens to this show or watches this show annually knows I'm a big fan of the Missouri State program. I always talk about all the pitchers they crank out, but hey, here's a position player who could get to the big leagues. Very athletic for the position, is above average run times as a catcher. You don't see that very often. He moves around the plate exceptionally well. Almost looks like an infielder back there. Just very quick. He's got soft hands. He gets rid of the ball quickly. Strong, accurate arm. It's the complete package defensively. Now, offensively, still trying to figure some things out. He's a switch hitter. He does have raw power. It seemed like this year he was trying to lift the ball too much, show that power, and it went through kind of a rough year at the plate. He's better left-handed to the point where some clubs wonder, maybe you make him a full-time left-handed hitter. He's got a little history of being nicked up here and there, but the scouts I talk to love his makeup and just think he's the epitome of what you want defensively and makeup-wise in a catcher.
MLBpipeline.com ranked number 120.
The New York Yankees select ID number 3041, Pachorik, Nick, right-handed pitcher, Northwestern.
The New York Yankees select Nick Pachorik, a right-handed pitcher from Northwestern University.
And he doesn't top Jay Happ, who was a third-round selection in 2004 out of Northwestern, but goes in round number 7 and has a unique story, Jim.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting metamorphosis when he's been at Northwestern. He hit 160 as a freshman catcher. They converted him to a pitcher last year. He barely pitched 2 innings, gave up 13 runs and 17 base runners, and here he is now, going in the 7th round of the draft, and that's because he was much improved this year. He's still a work in progress. He's not finished by any means. He's got a wipeout slider at times, 82 to 85 miles an hour. It's a legitimate strikeout pitch. He's 90, 94, up to 96 with a fastball, and this is untapped potential here. I mean, he's barely pitched at all. He's pitched, I think, less 28 2/3 innings in college, so you could have more velocity, more consistency with the slider. Pure reliever for me all the way.
I have Depperman stuff, but let's wait.
Let's wait. We'll add to him in a moment. Let's get the Houston Astros pick.
Yes.
The Houston Astros select draft ID 8303, Henley Blair, right-handed starter out of University of Texas, Austin.
The Houston Astros select Blair Henley, a right-handed pitcher from the University of Texas, Austin.
And a 22nd round selection of the New York Yankees back in 2016. He was a name that scouts were looking at back in high school pretty heavily.
Yeah, and not because of his performance necessarily, because you don't care that much about high school performance, other than the guys doing well. But he threw 3 straight no-hitters, Scott, in high school, and drew some attention. He was very good in summer ball as a freshman. Has kind of leveled off a little bit the last couple years. A lot of 88 to 92 miles an hour, so kind of fringy velocity on the fastball. He'll flash a solid slider, doesn't always show it. Changeup can be average. It can be a little bit less than that at times. His delivery's kind of upright, and there's some crossfire in it. His control kind of regressed this year. I think bigger things were expected of him, but there is some upside here. I mean, this is a guy whose scouts have been on going back to high school. So, the Astros have done all kinds of stuff with pitch development. I'd be very curious to see what they can do with Blair Henley over the next couple of years.
And I'm with you. I mean, back-to-back no-hitters, but back-to-back-to-back. I mean, that takes a little luck, a little bit of everything, too. A lot of pressure.
Boston selects draft ID 331, Bell Brock, a right-handed pitcher, State College of Florida, Manatee, Sarasota. Brock is the son of former Major Leaguer Jay Bell.
Boston Red Sox select Brock Bell, a right-handed pitcher from State College of Florida, Manatee, Sarasota. And that concludes the 7th round.
Yeah, and Jay Bell is actually the Yankees' AAA manager at the moment, so he sees tons of big-deal prospects coming through that system, especially in the last 5 years or so. So his son Brock gets selected, 6'4", 195 pounds, a 21-year-old, going to the Boston Red Sox.
All right. Well, I'm going to go back to Brad Depperman,
yes,
and we'll get back to Brock Bell. But he was a Friday night starter, set the career mark for innings pitched and strikeouts for the school. He's a redshirt senior, so he had injuries in the past, but didn't miss a start. Sinker slider that's touched as high as 97. Good slider to go along with it. A little undersized. He's athletic. Maybe he moves to the bullpen at the next level, but a guy who's put up some very good numbers over the course of his career at UNF.
He goes to the Cubs at 222 here in the 7th round. Depperman actually apparently drafted by the Cubs about 5 years ago as well. Let's go to the Baltimore Orioles to start round 8.
The Orioles select draft ID number 8462 McLarty Griffin, a right-handed starting pitcher out of College of Charleston.
The Baltimore Orioles select Griffin McLarty, a right-handed pitcher from the College of Charleston.
What do you know, Jim Callis?
Well, this is a guy who had great numbers in college this year. ERA around 2, strikeout to walk ratio was about 7-1. Interesting thing is he was 88 to 91 for a lot of the season, kind of topping out at 93, and it would play up because he can add and subtract and command it. But it was 90-94 later in the year. That got it got people a little bit more interested. The slider went from kind of an average-ish pitch to average-ish pitch. I'm not going to use that phrase again. To a more solid offering down the stretch. He's got a changeup as well. Throws a ton of strikes. High three-quarters guy who can throw downhill using his 6'3" frame. Really good feel for pitching. So this would have been like a pitchability right-hander. Kind of, that was your impression kind of going into the final, 4-6 weeks of the season.
Sure.
But then the stuff ticked up, so you're thinking, he might be a little bit more than that and a definite college performer.
Yeah, it could be a nice find here for Baltimore in round number 8 as we have the Kansas City Royals coming up next here. Just getting going with round 8, and this order is the same thing that you've heard for the past few rounds as we'll do up through round 40.
Kansas City Royals select ID 9063, Parrish, Drew, left-handed pitcher, Florida State University, hometown, Cape Canaveral, Florida.
The Kansas City Royals select Drew Parrish, a left-handed pitcher from Florida State University.
Yeah, and a starter for FSU for a few seasons now.
You know what he is?
Is he a pitchability lefty?
He is a pitchability lefty. The stuff is just okay if you grade it out with each pitch. Fastball that is kind of below average, fringy. The changeup is really good, and it's a separator, and it makes the fastball play up. He got hit a little bit more this year than he has because the changeup was a little bit too hard. He's got a breaking ball that he will mix in as well. So we're talking limited ceiling, but he really knows how to pitch. He's performed over 3 years at Florida State. So when you have that kind of production at a program like that, you're going to get noticed, and that's why he's off the board right now.
And the Kansas City Royals took Bobby Witt Jr., number 2 overall, yesterday in the first round. Since then, they've taken 8 straight college players. Let's go to the White Sox.
White Sox select draft ID 4955 Gonzalez Ivan, catcher, West Virginia University, Morgantown, West Virginia.
The Chicago White Sox select Ivan Gonzalez, a catcher from West Virginia University.
5'9", 190-pound senior to the White Sox.
I'll get back to him. I want to go back to Jay Bell's son, Brock. He's coming back from Tommy John surgery. So, if people were looking up his stats, which I did, I was a little confused. He barely pitched. He's just getting back. But a 3-pitch mix, a fastball that touches the mid-90s, shows an average curveball, sometimes a plus change. He only pitched in relief when he was back. So there's some pieces, some ingredients to work with here. He just is making his way back from surgery.
Yeah, and Jay managing for the Yankees organization, and now you have a family member going to the Red Sox organization, which is always a cool storyline. We'll get more info on Gonzalez very soon. White Sox select him with the 3rd pick of round number 8. Now the Miami Marlins will follow here. This is pick 231 of the 2019 MLB Draft.
Miami.
Marlins select draft ID 7422 Mitchell Tevin, an outfielder from UC Santa Barbara.
The Miami Marlins select Tevin Mitchell, an outfielder from UC Santa Barbara.
Yeah, and this is a senior for UC Santa Barbara, Tevin Mitchell, and a school that we've mentioned quite a bit already. I mean, how many UC Santa Barbara players do you think we're up to? I would say at least
5.
5? Yeah.
It seems like a good amount.
I would say in that range. We can also, yeah.
I was going to say, we've seen Miami go heavy senior here today. I mean, I think that's of their 6 picks today. Peyton Burdick's a redshirt junior. I think the other 4 college players are all seniors. But you look at what they did, why they're doing that. On the first day, they got J.J. Bleday. Okay, he's one of the best players in the draft at number 4. You got Cameron Meisner, who's one of the best athletes, best packages of tools in the draft with your supplemental first-round pick. And Nasim Nunez, who might be, he's in the discussion for best defenders at shortstop in the draft. So they went big on day 1, getting 3 big high-ceiling guys there who could do a lot of things, and then they're going to pay for it today with a lot of seniors on the college side.
And then the Detroit Tigers followed the Miami Marlins, and their next pick is...
The Detroit Tigers select draft ID 7344 Kenley Jack, shortstop, University of Arkansas at Fayetteville.
The Detroit Tigers select Jack Kinley, a shortstop from the University of Arkansas, Fayetteville.
Okay, Jim, what are they getting?
They're getting a middle infielder. I'm not sure if he's going to be a shortstop or a second baseman in the long run, but he's a good college middle infielder. 6 foot, 185 pounds, bats left, puts the bat on the ball, draws some walks. He's got a little bit of pop. He kind of goes back and forth between contact approach, power approach. Solid runner, has a good arm. I think he can play some third base too. To me, he kind of projects as a utility type who can do some things offensively as well.
By the way, yes, confirmed UC Santa Barbara players. We are at 5.
That was a good call
already so far. Yeah, it's been a good start so far for UC Santa Barbara.
Do I have time to go back to Ivan Gonzalez?
I think so. Yeah.
All right, really, really good catch and throw, accurate, throws on the bag. He caught Alek Manoah all year, so if you can handle that stuff, you can handle pro pitching. Anything with the bat is a bonus, and actually performed pretty well. Kind of a short, compact catcher frame.
Yeah, and that was the 3rd pick here in round number 8 to the Chicago White Sox. Now we're going up next to the Detroit Tigers, or make that the San Diego Padres. Just got the Tigers done. Padres' next pick is...
Padres select draft ID number 152, Andrew Mitchell. He's a left-handed starter from San Jose State.
The San Diego Padres select Andrew Mitchell, a left-handed starter from San Jose State.
Well, that's 2 Mitchells from California that I'm looking for information on. So, the one thing I do have a little bit on Tevin Mitchell is a good defender, a plus athlete, shown limited with the bats so much. But definitely glove over hit right now. Obviously, a senior side. And then I'll work on Andrew Mitchell next.
Yeah, Andrew Mitchell, senior, 6'1", 195 pounds, getting selected by the San Diego Padres. The Cincinnati Reds have the next pick at 234 overall. That's coming up in about 15 seconds. Still going about a minute between picks here as we're in round number 8. We'll do 9 and 10, and then we'll take a break to go home and go to sleep and all that stuff, and then come back and we'll do rounds 11 through 40 tomorrow, and those will be quick hitters. We'll just keep going with the picks consecutively and not breaking them down like we do today.
Cincinnati.
Reds select redraft 6032 Cotton Quinn, the center fielder from Grand Canyon University, hometown Aurora, Colorado.
The Cincinnati Reds select Quinn Cotton, a center fielder from Grand Canyon University.
And had a shot to be selected yesterday, maybe?
Maybe. He wasn't quite as good in his junior year as he was as a sophomore, where he was the Western Athletic Conference Player of the Year. and then was pretty good in the Cape Cod League. But, it's kind of good track record. He's hit pretty well, contact-oriented approach. He doesn't strike out a lot, but he also doesn't walk that much. He runs pretty well. There's some raw power. No one carrying tool, but area scouts really liked him. He competes really well. He's got really good instincts in the outfield. If he's going to be an everyday outfielder, it'll be in left because of his below-average arm. But he can play center because of those plus instincts. Played under Andy Stankiewicz at Grand Canyon, so learned the game from one of the best.
Quinn Cotton going to the Cincinnati Reds and the Texas Rangers coming up next here in round number 8.
Rangers select ID 1720. Matthews, first name John. He's a right-handed pitcher from Kent State University, hometown Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
The Texas Rangers select John Matthews, a pitcher from Kent State University.
A pitcher who can swing a bat a little bit, apparently, Jim Callis.
Well, I don't think you're going to two-way him. He got to Kent State as an infielder.
Legumina, a right-handed pitcher from Gonzaga University.
What's he like, Jonathan?
Well, he's kind of had an up-and-down career at Gonzaga. He moved from the bullpen to the rotation, then got hurt with the forearm strain, but generally has a good delivery. Fastball can get up to the mid-90s before the arm got hurt, and obviously with the forearm strain, you have to see what happens. But limited time on the mound from a guy who was drafted by the Indians last year in the 35th round.
Yes, and in 2016, taken by the Toronto Blue Jays when he was coming out of high school. So they Big day for the UC schools. And Sacramento State going to the Pittsburgh Pirates. And now the St. Louis Cardinals have pick number 245 overall.
St. Louis.
The St. Louis Cardinals select draft ID 5428, Greg.
University.
And again, Jim, we're talking about a pitcher who has done some starting, who has done some bullpen work also over at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, he began his college career at Connors State Junior College in Oklahoma. I believe it's not a great year in Oklahoma talent-wise this year. They had a guy who could have gone on the first day, Bryce Osmond, who was on our top high school players who weren't picked. But I think this is his first Oklahoma player we've had drafted the whole draft. I don't think we have one before this. He had Tommy John surgery in May 2017. He can show you up to 94, 95 at times. He's got inconsistent breaking ball. It could be solid to plus at times. Average changeup. There's a lot going on in his delivery. He's a 6'5" guy. He has trouble keeping it in sync. Doesn't throw a lot of quality strikes. So you're getting a raw project here, but pretty interesting guy.
Yeah, and had Tommy John surgery back in 2017. This is the Mariners pick.
Seattle.
The Mariners select draft ID 1223. Last name Adcock, first name Ty. A right-hand pitcher from Elon University, Elon, North Carolina.
The Seattle Mariners select Ty Adcock, a right-handed pitcher from Elon University.
Let me tell you, the Mariners are feeling the Elon prospects this year because they also took George Kirby, his teammate.
Yeah, they got two of the three, and I was waiting for you to go two-way guy because Ty Adcock is a two-way guy. He's drafted as a pitcher, and his future is as a pitcher. He actually went to Elon as a catcher. Didn't really start pitching until a couple years later. He's been their closer this year as well as their starting right fielder. 93-97 with that good four-seam life on the fastball. Once he's a full-time pitcher, I've had scouts tell me they think he'll hit 100. He's got a low 80s slider that can be a plus pitch at times. He'll even flash a changeup during some bullpen work. Doesn't really use it in games as a reliever.
on is, Seton Hall's right.
That's right. He's right
down
around
the road.
corner. Yeah.
It was not quite as good.
Kansas State University.
Give us the goods on Will Brennan.
See, you're going to like this guy because I think this one might actually be a two-way player. I think this could be a possibility. He's done both for Kansas State at the plate. He's a contact hitter. It's an all-contact, low-power approach, but it works for him. A possibility here for you, Scott.
And it looks like he has that hit tool, which is obviously important to try and pull that off. Let's go to the Dodgers.
Los Angeles Dodgers.
Dodgers select draft ID 709, Ryan Ward, a left fielder from Bryant University.
The Dodgers select Ryan Ward, left fielder from Bryant University.
Yeah, Ryan Ward out of Millbury, Massachusetts, coming from Bryant University. What else can you tell us, Jonathan?
Yeah, Bryant's kind of an interesting, sneaky good program, in Rhode Island, where you don't think of baseball. But this is a guy who has just performed. He hit over 400 as the first Bryant player to ever do that. And then done that throughout his career. Showed some more power. I mean, that was, I guess, a year ago. I'm sorry, I'm confusing my stat lines. But overall, it continues to hit, walks more than strikeouts. He does have some power. We'll see against better competition, and velocity. But we'll see probably a left fielder when all is said and done, which will put some pressure on the bat to work against the next level of pitching.
Okay, that's Ryan Ward going to the Los Angeles Dodgers. We move on to the Chicago Cubs here in round number 8.
Chicago Cubs.
The Chicago Cubs select draft ID 4037, Hers David John DJ, a left-handed pitcher from Terry Sanford High School in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
The Chicago Cubs select David John Hers, a left-handed pitcher from Terry Sanford High School.
And a quarterback there, and a guy who has big stuff.
Yeah, he's a lefty with a quality arm. The quarterback, as well, is probably the most live arm in the North Carolina high school class this year. Some debate over whether he's starter or reliever in the long run. Let's talk about the stuff first. He can hit 95, popped a lot of 93s and 94s as it was come down the stretch towards draft time. He's gained about 5 miles an hour in the last year, 6'2", 185. You can see him here. So there's room for some more strength. He could be a mid-90s guy once he's fully developed physically. He has a lateral breaking, low 80s slider that gets a lot of bad swings. Haven't seen much of a changeup on him yet. It hasn't really needed one in high school. And you can see from that video, he throws across his body, and the good news is it gives him action on his pitches. The bad news is it costs him command, so you have that starter-reliever debate. But it's a lefty arm. There aren't many lefty arms in the draft like this, and they got him this low in the draft as a coup.
And we're going to the Milwaukee Brewers pick.
Milwaukee.
Brewers select redraft 4859 Hamilton David, shortstop, University of Texas Austin, Austin, Texas.
The Milwaukee Brewers select David Hamilton, a shortstop from the University of Texas Austin.
And someone who dealt with a major injury but has the upside.
Yeah, and his injury could impact his career, so we'll have to see how he comes back from it. He ruptured an Achilles tendon, and his game was based on speed. I mean, the two best things that David Hamilton had going for him before he got hurt were that he was a plus runner and he could cover a lot of ground at shortstop. He struggled on the Cape, so his reviews on him were a little mixed coming in the year before he got hurt. He's got kind of a loopy swing, and it's not really going to be a lot of power, so he's going to have to be a contact speed guy who plays, quality defense at shortstop. Kind of an average-ish arm, but he can get to a lot of balls. Obviously the Brewers have looked at the medical reports, but for a speed guy with an Achilles tendon, got to see how he comes back from that. But, if he's healthy, he's probably a 3rd to 5th round guy.
Mm-hmm. We'll keep an eye on the medical reports for David Hamilton as he works his way back, but congratulations to him going in the 8th round here to the Milwaukee Brewers. The Oakland A's come your way on the 2019 MLB Draft coverage here on MLB.com.
Oakland selects draft ID 6887 Pico Chea Jose, a right-handed starter from Sahuarita High School.
The Oakland Athletics select Jose Dicochea, a right-handed pitcher from Sahuarita High School.
What have you heard about him?
It's one of these guys, sometimes when you have high school, you think arm strength, that's great. And he does get the ball up to 94, 95 miles per hour at times. But it's a really maximum effort delivery. He doesn't repeat it well, so that impacts his command. He's got a slider that will show at least average, maybe more. There's some projection, so he may fill out some more, but he kind of has a reliever profile, and a reliever profile out of high school really impacts your stock. But if you think you can iron out the delivery flaws with the projectability, it's a nice little pick here in the 8th round.
Yeah, that's the Oakland A's going with a high school pitcher. And the New York Yankees, Houston Astros, and Boston Red Sox will finish up round number 8 here of the 2019 MLB Draft. First, the Yankees.
Yankees.
Yeah, this is a senior, and Jim Callis is all over it.
Well, he's got crazy numbers. I don't have his final season stats, but coming into the final month, he had a 0.45 ERA and a 59-3 strikeout to walk ratio. He just got one of those invisible fastballs. It's 89-93, but he throws it in the strike zone, and guys just don't touch it. It's got fade, it's got sink, it's got run. He has a hybrid slider he can mix in there as well. Did his junior college ball at St. John's River Community College. This is your classic high-performing senior sign here. And the Yankees love spin rates. The way this guy's fastball plays, it's got to have great spin rates, and the Yankees are all about that. So it'll be interesting to see. They do a great job of taking guys like this and adding velocity to them. So we'll probably look up, and next year he'll be throwing like 95 miles an hour or something.
Yeah, he had 70 strikeouts to 8 walks, a 1.45 ERA he finishes the season with at South Alabama.
Houston.
The Houston Astros select draft ID 8794, Guerrero Jr. Luis, center fielder from Miami-Dade Community College South.
The Houston Astros select Luis Guerrero, a center fielder from Miami-Dade Community College.
So that's the Astros pick, and then the Red Sox will finish up round number 8 here, and we'll do round 9 and round 10, and we'll make our usual call out, too, for any information on Luis Guerrero that you have for us about his game. We'll take it, and we'll let everyone know here on MLB.com. But congratulations to Luis being taken by the Houston Astros, coming out of Miami-Dade Community College down in Florida, a center fielder. And we have the Red Sox pick coming up in just a moment. Then we'll get started with round 9. We'll do round 10. Then we'll take a little break, come back tomorrow. Day 1 of the MLB Draft, which was spectacular here in Studio 42. As
the Boston Red Sox select Will Dalton, a center fielder from the University of Florida, and that concludes the 8th round.
Yes, it does. This is Will Dalton coming from Tennessee to play some baseball at the University of Florida and taken actually out of high school in the 29th round by the Baltimore Orioles back in 2016.
Yeah, he hit a ton when he was at Columbia State JC in Tennessee. Hit a bunch of home runs in 2018, although not for average with the move to the SEC. Hasn't hit quite as well this year. Didn't show as much power. He spread his stance out a little bit, and then may have gotten rid of his power a little bit. The raw power shows up in BP, so it's there. The strikeout rate went down, but he wasn't getting to his power, which is really his calling card. Corner outfielder, probably can play right or left, but it's really the bat and the power that you're trying to buy into.
Yeah, looking to tap into that power that he showed more of from last year. Let's go to the Orioles.
Baltimore.
The Orioles select draft ID number 8108, Gillespie Connor, right-handed starter from Virginia Commonwealth.
The Baltimore Orioles select Connor Gillespie, a right-handed pitcher from Virginia Commonwealth University.
A VCU college player getting taken by the Baltimore Orioles at 258 overall. This is round number 9. We have reached the final 2 rounds here on day 2. Jonathan?
I'm going to go back to Luis Guerrero from Miami-Dade, kind of a thickly built center fielder, a bit above average runner. He's got some bat speed and some pop, was hurt a bit, so didn't have quite the year performance-wise, some swing and miss to his game. And I'll work on getting Gillespie information.
Yeah, who is the first player taken here in round number 9. Chicago White Sox, the Miami Marlins, and the Detroit Tigers. Those are picks 1 through 5.
The Kansas City Royals select Clay Dungan, a shortstop from Indiana.
thought he was going in the 9th round. So he's not going to be signable for 9th round slot.
Raw pop there, but he's a well below average runner, so he's limited to first base where he's a fringy average defender. He used to catch, so his hands are pretty good. So I think he's the kind of guy, if it's hit at him, he's going to catch it. But it's really the pop that you're trying to get here.
Okay, and we'll get some more information on Rudy Rote soon. Philadelphia Phillies first baseman coming out of Ohio University as the Angels have the next pick, and that's coming.
Lingenfelter Zach, right-handed pitcher, University.
6'3", 185, a redshirt sophomore getting picked now by the Washington Nationals. Hunter McMahon is the name coming out of Texas State, and we're working on some other players to get you caught up on. Jim's got one, yes?
No, I do have Hunter McMahon. I'm overwhelmed here by my my sheets here. The type's too small. It's swimming on me. No, Hunter McMahon is a redshirt sophomore, 6'3", 185. Former Tommy John guy. He's had Tommy John in his past, but it's a good arm action. He's up to 94. Sinking and boring action on the fastball. He's got good life on the changeup, too. And a curveball in the upper 70s with some nice breaking on as well. So he's kind of interesting. Circling back to Rudy Rote, the Ohio first baseman who won a couple picks ago. The bat is his carrying tool. He was the Mid-American Conference Player of the Year 2 years in a row. Also could play pretty good first base. So the bat is obviously, as a first baseman, what has to come through for you. But he can pick it a little bit at first base as well.
And also, if we can get a magnifying glass for Jim Callis, we would certainly
You should see the yellow. The yellow's even worse. We'll break that out later. We'll show that later.
That's the handwriting. Yeah, we would show it on camera, but you wouldn't be able to see it. It's basically invisible. Let's
invincible
get to the both invincible and invisible. It has to be neon in the dark.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh selects draft ID redraft 5336 Ethan Paul, a shortstop from Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee.
The Pittsburgh Pirates select Ethan Paul, a shortstop from Vanderbilt University.
Yeah, and a name that's been contributing to Vanderbilt for 4 seasons now and made the move to shortstop this year, Jim.
Yeah, he replaced Connor Kaiser at short. He was on a priority senior side for some clubs. He could play shortstop. He's played second base in the past. Didn't have a great offensive year last year, but he's bounced back as a senior, had a pretty nice season. I think he can stay at short. It's an average arm. He's got pretty good instincts there. He's not a great runner, so maybe he does slide over to second base. He's got some power. It's kind of an uphill approach, but really bounced back after a little bit of a slump during a junior season.
Do we have time for Bobby I? Can I go back to
let's go to Bobby I of the Arizona Diamondbacks now.
Didn't pitch last year, but it was their Friday night guy for Cal Poly this year. 90 to 94 with the fastball. His changeup is his best pitch. That's a plus pitch at times. His projection to his body really performed well this year. So good value at this stage of the draft.
Yeah, that's for the Diamondbacks. This is the Cardinals pick now.
St. Louis.
St. Louis Cardinals select redraft number 4858, Lott Todd, an outfielder from the University of Louisiana, Lafayette.
The St. Louis Cardinals select Todd Lott, an outfielder from the University of Louisiana, Lafayette.
Someone sitting at home going, was it the cousin of San Francisco 49ers great and Hall of Famer Ronnie Lott? In fact, it is.
Yeah, Ronnie Lott can hit you pretty hard, and so can Todd Lott. He can hit you pretty hard, too. He's all about power. It's a lot of raw power. That's his tool. There's some swing and miss to the game a little bit. He's going to have to tighten that up a little bit. But you're drafting this guy for the power potential. He's played some left field, played some first base. The run and the arm are kind of below average. Might be a DH, but he could put on a show. 6'4", 235. He could put on a show in BP. That's why he's getting picked here.
A teammate who's going to have your back, too. Sure, there's some serious strength going on with Todd Lott. I wonder if he played football, actually, in high school. He was selected in the 20th round by the Reds coming out of high school. We're going to the Seattle Mariners. They have the next pick.
Seattle.
The Mariners select draft ID 8953, last name Salvatore, first name Mike, a shortstop from Florida State University, Tallahassee, Florida.
The Seattle Mariners select Mike Salvatore, a shortstop from Florida State University.
10 picks for Seattle. 8 of them have been pitchers, and now this is the second position player that they take. So we'll work on some more information on Mike Salvatore coming out of Florida State University, 22 years old, 6 feet, 177 pounds. The shortstop is a righty bat selected by Seattle, a team that's going through a transition period right now at the big league level.
I'll try to get some more details on his tools, but kept coming off a pretty good year where he hit 340. 341, for the Seminoles. A little bit of power, mostly extra base pop, can run a little bit. and that's just basing off the numbers, so I'll try to get a little more scouty-type information.
And coming from a spot not too far from here, Ewing, New Jersey, a Jersey native, Mike Salvatore out of Florida State University. The Atlanta Braves have the next pick. It's 277 overall here in the 2019 MLB Draft.
Atlanta.
The Braves select draft ID 5382, Milligan Cody, second baseman, Cowley County Community College, hometown Binger, Oklahoma.
The Atlanta Braves select Cody Milligan, a second baseman from Cowley County Community College.
Okay, that's the pitcher for the Atlanta Braves that is just selected. Cody Milligan, the second baseman just selected out of Cowley County Community College, a community college in Kansas, and the ninth round, 277th pick by the Atlanta Braves.
I'll go back to Salvatore for a little bit. Line drive swing, quick bat. He makes a lot of contact.
Yeah, that is Mike Salvatore, Seattle Mariners selection, a shortstop, right-handed hitter, and a senior taken by the Seattle Mariners. The Tampa Bay Rays coming up next, and any information we get on these guys as we continue along, we'll go backwards. We'll get you caught up, and then we'll continue to push forward here at 278 overall. The Tampa Bay Rays have the next pick, and we'll have more for you on this guy once he gets selected.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay selects draft ID 8598, Evan McKendry, right-hand starting pitcher, University of Miami.
The Tampa Bay Rays select Evan McKendry, a right-handed pitcher from the University of Miami.
And something that'll push him back this far is labrum surgery last fall. Out of Pembroke Pines, so a local kid goes to Miami. His best pitch, you can see the fastball. Not a big velocity guy, but so you know, of course, when you're getting a pitcher that's right-handed, that's throwing in that range, that does have some pitchability to him, you're going to start to hear a Kyle Hendricks comparison.
Yeah, and just so people know, it was a hip labrum, not a shoulder labrum.
Okay.
Just so, I mean, not that that's not concerning, but it's not exactly the same thing. And it's you know, kind of a solid mix of pitches. Nothing really stands out. Fringy stuff overall. The changeup is the best pitch, but he missed some time this spring also. So that was you know, one thing. And then very quickly, I was going to get back to Salvatore, but we'll get back to him.
Yep, let's get to the Rockies.
Colorado.
The Rockies select draft ID number 8253, Collins Isaac. He's a second baseman, Creighton University.
The Colorado Rockies select Isaac Collins, a second baseman from Creighton University.
Yeah, and he's done good things in his 3 seasons with the Creighton Blue Jays.
Yeah, he's interesting. He's a switch hitter. He's a plus runner, so that's a nice value here, getting him at this point in the draft. A little bit better, I think, from the left-handed side of the plate. Twitchy guy. The scouts I've talked to like him more. They project him more as an outfielder necessarily than as a middle infielder. But for a guy who runs as well as he does, and he's not a super big guy, he does have a little pop to him, so he's kind of interesting. And then doubling back, a couple picks on Cody Milligan out of Cowley County, who was the Braves pick. He's a kind of an athletic, twitchy infielder. You know, solid arm strength, can run a little bit too. Had a nice year. Began his college career at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and
if you had twitchy on your Scouty lingo bingo, you won because Jim just said it twice in about 15 seconds.
Boom, twitchy and pitchability. Your words
I'm getting
of the
twitchy.
day. Yes. That's the Rockies pick, Isaac Collins out of Creighton, and then we're going to go to the Cleveland Indians at 280 overall here in round 9. Do we have time to go back on one? We can go back.
Mike Salvatore. I just want to give a complete profile spread out over many seconds, but an average defender, really very little swing and miss. Got a very nice senior sign there because send him out. Maybe he's a utility guy if it all works.
Okay, that's the Seattle Mariners selection. We are waiting for the Colorado Rockies at 279 overall, and to set up the rest of this round, Rockies, Indians, Dodgers, Cubs, Brewers, A's, Yankees, Astros, and the Red Sox finish up each round for us, the defending World Series champs. We're here in round 9 of the 2019 MLB Draft. Scott Braun, Jim Callis, and Jonathan Mayo. And while we're waiting on the Cleveland Indians selection, let's see what they bring to the table so far today. Well, we know their first pick, number 24 overall, because we met him yesterday, Daniel Espino, who's a big arm, and we've seen him in some big showcases too.
Yeah, we saw him throw, 99 miles an hour last year at the Under Armour game when we did that game?
That was over at Wrigley Field. We did. I think he was the hardest thrower in that game.
Beat Hunter Green out. Beat Hunter Green, beat all-time records for that game.
Which is crazy. I mean, and he looks like he's still going to fill into his body quite a bit. Maybe he's going to throw 102, 103.
Indians select draft ID 5290, Bartlett Will, catcher, IMG Academy, hometown Portola Valley, California.
The Cleveland Indians select Will Bartlett, a catcher from IMG Academy.
Yeah, Will Bartlett gets the call, and he's at a spot where you can really improve your game over at IMG Academy. What else can you tell us about him?
He hasn't caught that much.
Okay.
He's mostly played first base, but clearly the Indians will at least give him a chance to catch. He obviously benefited from the fact that people were going to see IMG a lot. You had Brendan Malone, you had Reese Hines, Josh Rivera, who we haven't heard his name go yet. So maybe give him a chance to catch, but he actually was one of the most consistent hitters for that IMG lineup, even with all that star power.
Congratulations to Will Bartlett. Let's get to the Dodgers.
Dodgers select draft ID 9860, Alec Gamboa, a left-handed starter from Fresno City College.
The Los Angeles Dodgers select Alec Gamboa, a left-handed pitcher from Fresno Community College.
Yeah, that's Alec Gamboa going to the Los Angeles Dodgers, and we can look back at what the Dodgers have done. Let's see. Looks like more than half their picks have been pitchers so far in this 2019 MLB Draft. We can get caught up on anybody else as well here, as we'll get one more pick from Los Angeles, getting close to the end of round number 9 right now. We'll get one more from them today when we get to round 10. The Cubs are coming up next, and the Brewers, A's, Yankees, Astros, and Red Sox here. The 2019 MLB Draft, you probably have about 45 minutes or so to go here as we'll finish up round 9 and then get to round 10. Of course, lots of coverage, articles from these guys, all kinds of video content, too, up there on MLB.com for you to lock in on any of the picks. And then tomorrow we are back, rounds 11 through 40. When do we start tomorrow? Around noon Eastern? Yeah, noon Eastern. That's the word.
Let's say, when do you want to start?
Well, don't ask me that because I'll sleep in. Noon Eastern is when we'll start for all of you tomorrow with rounds 11 through 40 tomorrow. So make sure you come back and spend some time with us then. So let's see what we can get from the Chicago Cubs coming up very soon right now after Alec Gamboa gets taken out of Fresno Community College by the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Chicago.
The Chicago Cubs select draft ID 198, Schlafer Tyler. He's a right-handed pitcher from Homewood Flossmoor High School, hometown Homewood, Illinois.
The Chicago Cubs select Tyler Schlafer, a right-handed pitcher from Homewood Flossmoor High School.
Let's go Midwest. Tell us what you got. This is an Illinois product.
Yeah. That's a pretty close to home kid for the Cubs,
Yeah.
Tyler Schlafer. I have him just listed as 6'1", 160, but I have him touching 94 miles an hour by the end of the spring. He's very athletic. It's a quick arm. The delivery works really well. It's interesting for a high school kid. The changeup, I think, is more consistent than the slider. He's got some power to the slider as well. I'd be curious. I've never seen this kid in person, but 6'1", 160, you already have some pretty good stuff. What if he adds another inch or two and puts on some weight? I mean, you might have a starter here, and if not, you might have a lefty who can be a reliever. Because you don't see too many 6'1", 160-pound lefties touching 94.
No, you don't. And how common is it for a team to take a player that's towards the major league ballpark? You don't want to get where they look.
You don't want to get beat in your backyard.
Yeah,
Scouts say that all the time. Can't get beat in your backyard.
The Milwaukee Brewers have the next pick.
Milwaukee.
Brewer select draft ID 2401, Miller Darian, catcher, Clovis High School, Clovis, California.
The Milwaukee Brewers select Darian Miller, a catcher from Clovis High School.
8 picks so far for the Milwaukee Brewers, 3 of them catchers. And you look, they didn't get great production from the catcher spot last year. They went and made a big addition to the Major League squad this offseason in Yasmani Grandal, but that's only a 1-year contract for him. So Milwaukee starting to put some more catchers into their minor league system at the moment, and one of the better teams, obviously last year, making it 1 game away from the World Series. So the Milwaukee Brewers make their pick. We've got 4 more to go here in round 9, the A's, the Yankees, the Astros, and the Boston Red Sox. Scott Brun, Jim Callis, Jonathan Mayo. We're working on backtracking on a few players right now that have been picked.
I will go back to Alec Gamboa. I'm still tracking down information. This is actually from Alec's Twitter feed. Thank you for the pinned tweet, Alec.
Hey.
Tommy John surgery in July of 2017, and just was getting back on the first game back in February of this year. So I actually couldn't find stats for him for this year, but kudos for him for working his way back to the point where someone was going to take even a money-saving pick here in the draft.
Yeah, here in round 8.
Oakland.
Oakland selects draft ID 5996, Pelusi, Colin, right-hand starter from Wake Forest University.
The Oakland A's select Colin Pelusi, a right-handed pitcher from Wake Forest University.
Okay, there's Colin Pelusi out of Wake Forest University. Jim, have you seen him?
I've not seen him personally. I've watched a little video. But Colin Pelusi and Morgan McSweeney, Wake Forest, both had a chance to maybe go in the first half of today's action coming into the year. Neither one of them had a great year. But Pelusi's interesting. I mean, if you see him on the right day, you can see the fastball up to 95. You can see a tight slider. You can see him showing some feel for a changeup. You rarely see all that on the same day, which is why he struggled. Battled his command this year. Throws a decent amount of strikes, but his stuff would flatten out, or he'd have to dial down the velocity sometimes to throw strikes and get hit. But there's some ingredients there. You see the makings of 3 pitches. Now it's just getting them to come out on a consistent basis, a more reliable basis. 6'3", 230 frame. That's its starter's frame. And I think you run him out there as a starter for a while and see what happens.
Okay, now the New York Yankees have the next pick, 285 overall, and it is?
Yankees.
The New York Yankees select ID number 6227, Henson Spencer, first baseman, Oral Roberts University.
The New York Yankees select Spencer Henson, a first baseman from Oral Roberts University.
Jim?
Yeah, Spencer Henson is your Summit League Player of the Year at Oral Roberts. A little two-way background for you, Scott. He pitched a few innings this year, was more of a hitter, but he's 88 to 92 on the mound. His carrying tools plus raw power. If he gets to the big leagues, that's what's going to get him there.
I'm going to go back to 2 guys. Alec Gamboa did pitch this year, 87 to 91 with the fastball. Shows an average slider. Was at Fresno State. And then had Tommy John transferred. And then Darian Miller is sort of a projection, a bit of a project behind the plate. The bat's ahead of the glove. He needs to add some strength, but a pretty solid and accurate arm.
Gamboa going to the Dodgers here in round 9, and also mentioned Darian Miller going to the Milwaukee Brewers in round 9, the catcher, the high school catcher taken. And then the Houston Astros have a pick left, and the Boston Red Sox. That'll be it for round 9. We'll do round 10. That'll be another 30 minutes or so, and then we'll say goodnight, and we'll see you tomorrow for rounds 11 through 40, live on MLB.com, exclusively right here on MLB.com, and we'll chime in with some analysis throughout. Those picks will be much quicker. Those picks will be consecutive. Right now we have about a minute between each pick. We'll do that for one more round here. So the Houston Astros just about ready to go with their pick, and it's the second to last one of round number 9.
Houston.
The Houston Astros select draft ID 6121, Battenfield Peyton, right-handed pitcher from Oklahoma State University.
The Houston Astros select Peyton Battenfield, a right-handed pitcher from Oklahoma State University.
Yeah, Peyton Battenfield out of Oklahoma State. We did get an Oklahoma State player in this round, didn't we?
Logan Gregg? Was it Logan Gregg?
I believe so.
Yeah, I know there were a couple Oklahomas because I was giving you credit for the fact that that
he started
knew
the run.
That there had been no Oklahomans yet. So
one last round from Oklahoma State, and we had one. Yeah, Gregg, and then we had an Oklahoma player as well. The Boston Red Sox have the last pick here in round number 9, 287 overall. We're all caught up, right?
I think so. I'd say Battenfield had good numbers out of the bullpen, saved 5 games, missed a lot of bats.
He's a sinker guy, throws a lot of strikes. It's sinker ball and strikes are his 2 biggest assets for Peyton Battenfield.
Okay. Let's make sure we get to the Boston Red Sox pick, and they have it right now to finish up round 9.
Boston.
Red Sox select draft ID number 8227, Scroggins Cody, a right-handed pitcher from the University of Arkansas.
The Boston Red Sox select Cody Scroggins, a right-handed pitcher from the University of Arkansas, Fayetteville. And that concludes the 9th round.
Yes, it does. And Jim Callis has more on the 9th round selection for the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, I think Arkansas originally recruited him as a shortstop, so there's another 2-way background for you there. He's a full-time pitcher now. Had Tommy John 2 years ago. He's come back. He did have a little elbow flare-up this year, but when he was healthy on the mound, he was 90, 93, up to 96 miles an hour. Throws a lot of sliders. It's a pretty good pitch, but he throws an awful lot in the low 80s. He's also got a split-finger fastball that could be effective. For him, it comes down to throwing strikes. He's got 3 pretty interesting pitches. He just doesn't locate them or command them on a consistent basis. And he's going to have to do a better job of that against professional hitters.
We've probably talked about 15 to 20 guys who are still playing, as a pitcher and as a hitter. I would be satisfied if maybe 2 of them got to work on that at the next level.
I'll take the under.
Yeah, you'll take the under? Okay, I'm trying. Let's do round number 10. The Baltimore Orioles are up.
Baltimore.
We would like to dedicate this pick to area scout Tom Dreyer. The Orioles select draft ID number 9080, Cannon Jordan, catcher from Sam Houston State.
The Baltimore Orioles select Jordan Cannon, a catcher from Sam Houston State University.
Okay, there's the pick for the Baltimore Orioles. Still working on some information there. But
someone's got to back up Adley Rutschman. Right?
That's true.
So I'm working on it. We'll get something.
Yes. We'll get something. That's right. Well, it's a good guy to learn from if you're going to back up Adley Rutschman and go to the same rookie ball as him.
And we talked about the Orioles draft early. I mean, we really like what they did. Even though they didn't have the extra picks, but Gunnar Henderson was the guy we thought might go in the first round. They got Kyle Stowers, who was a college performer who started slowly and came on. They got him before the end of last night, and then even a guy like Zach Watson to kick things off this year, a college guy with some tools. They've done a really nice job even without extra picks. Darrell Harnais is an upside up the middle kind of player, so. I think they've done a very nice job with not having the flexibility that some of those multiple pick teams have.
Yeah, and congratulations to Jordan Cannon, first pick of the 10th round.
Kansas City Royals select ID 2652, Venetiano Anthony, left-handed pitcher, Coastal Carolina University, hometown Hackettstown, New Jersey.
The Kansas City Royals select Anthony Venetiano, a left-handed pitcher from Coastal Carolina University.
There's a pick for Kansas City out of Hackettstown, New Jersey. Coastal Carolina, 95-mile-per-hour fastball, too, for the Kansas City Royals, a 21-year-old at 6'5", 205 pounds, and their their 10th round pick here in the 2019 MLB Draft.
Yeah, he 95 is his max velocity. His velocity was down early in the season. He got off to a little bit of a slow start. He was 88 to 91. Picked back up later. Breaking ball was similarly inconsistent. He can show you a pretty good slider when it's on. Needs to throw a few more strikes, but to a lefty with a good body and some arm strength, there's something to work with there. Then backing up to Cannon, who the Orioles just took behind the plate. He's athletic. He can hit. He's versatile. He's got some power too. Capable of playing outfield and third base as well.
There you go. I feel like we're all caught up for the White Sox.
White Sox.
Chicago White Sox select draft ID 6225, Pawalczyk Nathan, right-handed pitcher, Winthrop University, Rock Hill, South Carolina.
The Chicago White Sox select Nathan Pawalczyk, a right-handed pitcher from Winthrop University.
Jim Callis, present more for us.
No, I was thinking I was going to have to scramble, and I realized he's here on the secret charts. But right-hander, 6'1", 190, throws from a low slot. He'll sit around 90 miles an hour, touch 93, 94. He can get some swings and misses with his slider. Has a changeup, throws strikes. So it's not that classic starter build, but he has 3 pitches. He has a history of throwing strikes. So he'll get. To me, he gets a chance to go out and pro ball, stick in the rotation, and see how far he can go.
Okay, yeah, give that a shot first for a White Sox club that's building itself back up right now, and one of the better farm systems at this point. Would you say top 10 at least?
Yeah, although it's it was at the very top. But they've had some injuries. Eloy Jimenez is about to graduate from the top 100 prospects list, so it's not quite as deep as it used to be.
Still have Dylan Cease, though.
Yes, he's a big
Luis
deal.
Robert, too, not too bad.
Let's talk about the Marlins.
Miami.
Marlins select draft ID 9987 or JD, a center fielder from Wright State University.
The Miami Marlins select J.D. Orr, a center fielder from Wright State University.
And he can fly. This is a player who has the chance to be quite a pest in the minor leagues. Somebody who has serious stolen base potential over at Wright State, and that's something that he's done very well. More walks than strikeouts, I believe, over at Wright State. Not much power, but plenty of speed.
Yeah, no, he runs a 6.3460. He ran that on scout day, so that's 80 speed. He leads Division I with 60 steals, caught 10 times this spring. He's second in the nation with 83 runs. He's part of that lineup. We saw Peyton Burdick and Seth Gray get drafted earlier today, so Wright State could do a lot of things to you offensively. For a guy who runs as well as he is, he's not as good a defender as he could be. He's going to have to step up that part of his game, and he's not going to be a power hitter. He's going to have to show that he can make enough impact with the bat to make enough use of that speed at the pro level.
Do you know where Peyton Burdick went? Also, to
not
the
off the top of my head. There you go.
Detroit.
The Detroit Tigers select draft ID 5374, Holton Jake, first baseman, Creighton University.
The Detroit Tigers select Jake Holton, a first baseman from Creighton University.
When I heard Creighton, I'm like, Jim Callis is definitely all over this. And then I saw
a fifth pump.
When you're in the 10th round of the draft, and we're in senior sign territory, but I have the senior signs on the secret charts. It's 3 in a row. I'm feeling pretty good about myself after, what are we now, or 5 or 6. But Jake Holton, huge year at Creighton, hit over 400. He's stocky, strong guy. He uses all fields. Scout told me the best way he could describe him was, like, when he gets a pitch to hit, he just doesn't miss it. I think he's going to be a DH. There's not much arm or speed or defense, but great numbers at Creighton, which is not an easy place to hit. That's the third Creighton hitter we've had drafted today after Will Robertson and Isaac Collins. And if you ask me, no, I don't know who drafted them. And Holton began his career at Santa Barbara Community College.
I like to quiz Jim Callis when we're about 6 hours into our day. Let's go to the San Diego Padres.
San Diego.
Padres select draft ID number 3660, Elliott Ethan. He's a left-handed starter at Lincoln Memorial University, Harrogate, Tennessee.
The San Diego Padres select Ethan Elliott, a left-handed pitcher from Lincoln Memorial University.
And 7 consecutive pitchers taken by the San Diego Padres, and they are lucky enough to have someone that Jim Callis has on his list.
Well, I'm lucky enough that I have a lot of good contacts in the scouting industry who tried to take care of me with senior signs.
Yes.
And I was tipped off to Ethan Elliott. Here's some stats for you, Scott. 2.23 ERA, 134 strikeouts, 14 walks in 93 innings. 6'3", 180 lefty. 85, 89 with the fastball. The changeup is probably what makes all that work, or the way it plays off the fastball. So he's, get a pitchability lefty there with great strikeout to walk ratio, and you're going to get a discount on him because he's a senior here in the 10th round.
Can you be a pitchability lefty with that many strikeouts?
If you're throwing 85, 89, you're a really good pitchability lefty.
Can. I just want to help because people, I'm sure, are very curious. But Will Robertson went to the Blue Jays in the 4th round, and Isaac Collins, the other Creighton hitter, 9th round to the Rockies.
Oh, there you go. Okay, let's go to the Reds.
Cincinnati.
Reds select ID 5953 Stevenson. Jake, he's a right-handed pitcher from the University of Minnesota, hometown Waconia, Minnesota.
The Cincinnati Reds select Jake Stevenson, a right-handed pitcher from the University of Minnesota.
And I would like to personally thank all of these teams for continuing to select players from the Midwest so Jim Callis can have a field day.
I'm enjoying this because, again, I'm not having to scramble. Jake Stevenson, 6'4", 225, senior right-hander, up to 97 miles an hour. The breaking ball's inconsistent. You're hoping that maybe he can get to be an average breaking ball down the road. He's got to throw more strikes. But, this is an arm strength project you're getting here at a senior discount in the 10th round.
There you go. Jim, nailing it again. The Texas Rangers have the next pick, 295 overall as we're winding down here in round 10. Actually, some breaking news for Major League fans. If you're locked in on the draft all day, according to multiple reports, a torn ACL for Andrew McCutchen, unfortunately, caught in a rundown yesterday, and he'll be out for the rest of the season. That's a really, really rough loss for the Phillies. Their leadoff hitter, he had been off to a really nice start this season.
Texas.
Rangers select ID 9137 Corbett. First name Joe. He's a right-handed pitcher from West Texas A&M University, hometown Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
The Texas Rangers select Joe Corbett, a right-handed pitcher from West Texas A&M University.
Give us the goods, Jim.
Yeah, Joe Corbett from West Texas A&M. Another arm strength guy. He's up to 95, 96 miles an hour. It's mostly velocity. The delivery's not the most polished. West Texas A&M, also the college that Marshall Kasowski and the Dodgers organization came out of, has some of the best strikeout rates, strikeout totals in the minor leagues. And this looks like another guy who's got a really live arm and maybe winds up in that bullpen role.
Yep, and that's the pick for the Texas Rangers, Joe Corbett, right-hander out of West Texas A&M. I also will mix in a few, if we ever get to a pick that Jim doesn't know at this point, a few notable 10th round picks in recent history. So I'll give the first one out. I have about 7 or 8. Howie Kendrick was a former 10th round pick. This is the 10th round pick for the San Francisco Giants.
San Francisco.
Giants select draft ID 2115, Jeff Houtby, a shortstop, University San Diego.
The San Francisco Giants select Jeff Houtby, a shortstop from the University of San Diego.
Yeah, a pick for the San Francisco Giants that we'll work on, so that gives me a chance to work in another former 10th round pick while we look that up. Jason Hamill, also a former 10th round pick. Nationals catcher Jan Gomes, a former 10th round pick. Point here, some of these players will make it to the show. Obviously, the percentages go down as we go from round to round. About 73% make it if we go back to 1981 from the first round, and then that goes down to about half in the second round, a little under half in the third round. What else you got?
Well, I was just going to say, like we were talking about at the top of the show, there's talent in every round. We're going to look back 5 years from now, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to tell you which of these guys will be. And there'll be somebody in this 10th round who will have gotten to the big leagues and done something there, and we'll say, wow, how'd that guy last 10 rounds? There's going to be talent tomorrow.
Yes, there will, and we will talk about that. Let's get the Blue Jays pick in the meantime.
Toronto.
Curtis Granderson built a very nice baseball player
Curtis
there.
Granderson. That's right. And also, Otis slugged .749 this season at the University of Illinois at Chicago. The Minnesota Twins taking Benjamin Gross, the right-handed pitcher out of Duke University. We'll work on some more information there. We have the Philadelphia Phillies coming up, so we'll come back to a few players that we're behind on.
Select ID 8401, Tatum McCarthy, third base.
Sox. I'll volunteer for 317. Let's get the Angels selection.
Angels.
The Angels select draft ID 3535, Sykes, Chad, right-handed pitcher, UNC Greensboro.
The Los Angeles Angels select Chad Sykes, a right-handed pitcher from UNC Greensboro.
Chad Sykes is the name going to the Angels, a right-handed pitcher out of UNC Greensboro. This is a senior selection for the Angels, and if you're just tuning in, just a reminder, when we get to this portion of the draft, it's pretty common to get some senior selections here, and some of these picks kind of give teams the ability to spend a little bit more on some of their selections that were made earlier. Sometimes say that's a big-time high school prospect that is going to go to college, or at least has the leverage of going to college unless he gets an offer that he likes to go to that team, so they're able to kind of allocate that money correctly.
I don't think we're going to have time to
we'll come back.
We got time, so we'll come back after we get this next pick.
Arizona.
Arizona selects draft ID 1111, Santos Oscar, catcher out of Colegio Individualizado, PJ Education.
The Arizona Diamondbacks select Oscar Santos, a catcher from PJ Education School.
I'm going to backtrack for a second, Scott. Chad Sykes, the last pick, who just went to the Angels, missed 2018 with an injury. Low 90s guy, great comeback year, 0.96 ERA, 68 strikeouts and 56 innings with 11 saves.
That's great work over at UNC Greensboro.
All right, Tatum McCarthy was actually the Mountain West Player of the Year as a fifth-year senior, a redshirt senior. Plus power really showed up this year. It struggled before this, but some athleticism and some power, and started to figure it out this year.
Okay, and that was the Philly selection, Tatum McCarthy out of Fresno State, going at pick number 300. We have now reached pick 303. It's the Washington Nationals' turn.
Washington.
The Washington Nationals like to dedicate our 10th round selection to our area scout, Ray Blanco. With our pick, we will be selecting draft ID 3291, Pratt Andrew, a catcher from Lubbock Christian University.
The Washington Nationals select Andrew Pratt, a catcher from Lubbock Christian University.
Yeah, pick 303 for the Washington Nationals. As you can see, the Pittsburgh Pirates are on the clock, and these two guys are hard at work to get some more scouting information on some of the recent selections. They do like me. They do look at me when I talk to them, when I ask them questions. But sometimes I have to talk to you so we can give them time to get that accurate information. They are, most of the time, texting scouts to get info on these players. Maybe an occasional hello to a friend. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny. I don't look at their phones. But anyway, Andrew Pratt is the selection, catcher out of Lubbock Christian for the Washington Nationals, who have picked 303. And we'll work on some other ones. We'll get you caught up in a few moments. Let's get to the Pittsburgh Pirates. They have the next pick. It's 304. Round 10. We're about halfway through.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh selects draft ID 6715, Cameron Junker, a right-handed starter from Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana.
The Pittsburgh Pirates select Cameron Junker, a right-handed pitcher from Notre Dame.
6'5", 220, someone who's been working on his control, gets picked by the Pittsburgh Pirates, Jim.
Yeah, I'm not surprised the Pirates took a guy like this. I mean, they have a mold, physical mold of kind of what they like their pitchers to look like, big, tall, kind of lean guys like Cameron Junker. And you're right, he does need more consistency. I mean, he's got some ingredients there, though. I mean, he can run the fastball up to 94 miles an hour. At times, he'll show some late bite on a 78 to 80 mile an hour slider. Changeup isn't that great. Maybe a reliever in the long run.
And we already have the Cardinals pick. They're ready.
The St. Louis Cardinals select draft ID 7155, Summers Jake, a right-handed pitcher from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
The St. Louis Cardinals select Jake Sommers, a right-handed pitcher from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
Is this your neck of the woods?
It is. I won't claim that I went up and scouted him personally, but Jake Sommers is a 6'2", 190-pound right-hander, a senior out of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Usually throws around 90 to 93 miles an hour. There were some whispers that he might have been throwing a little bit harder toward the end of the college season. Kind of a max effort guy, so that hampers the control. Slider, inconsistent, but there's some low 90s with velocity there.
Do you have time for Oscar Santos, the catcher out of Puerto Rico?
Yeah, let's get caught up.
Swings the bat really well, aggressive at the plate. He's small and compact, but really strong. Question whether he'll stay behind the plate. There are some skills there, but maybe he ends up in the outfield when all is said and done.
That's Oscar Santos getting taken by the Diamondbacks about 5 picks ago.
Seattle.
The Mariners select draft ID 8688. Last name Hill, first name Kyle, a right-hand pitcher from Baylor University, Waco, Texas.
The Seattle Mariners select Kyle Hill, a right-handed pitcher from Baylor University.
Yeah, Kyle Hill out of Baylor, a right-handed pitcher and a senior selection by the Seattle Mariners. We have that run of seniors going on right now. Many of them here in round 10 as things change once we get to round 11 through 40. And things change as far as budget is concerned, right? Once we get back to round 11, I think that's something important to point out as well.
Yeah, the bonuses go up. The first $125,000 doesn't count against your pool. You can go $125,000 on any of the guys after the 10th round. Anything over that counts against your bonus pool.
Which makes sense for why things would get a little bit different from, 8 through 10 and then change again once we get to round 11 tomorrow.
Atlanta.
The Braves select draft ID 5548, Parker Wesley, right fielder, Mississippi Gulf Coast Junior College.
Okay, there's the pick for the Atlanta Braves. Brandon Parker is the name, and he is coming out of Gulf Coast in Mississippi.
Yeah, he had a big year last year. He was, I believe, the NJCAA Division II Player of the Year. Hit 24 home runs, 81 RBIs, which led the NJCAA Division II. As you might suspect from that statistical profile, Scott, he's a power guy. He's got some athleticism to him, probably average run and arm, left fielder. If he doesn't sign here, again, we think most of these guys go in the top 10 rounds are going to sign.
Yep.
He'll go to Dallas Baptist next season.
And you're right, he was the NJCAA Division II Player of the Year last year. Numbers down a little bit, but this season. But last year, yeah, a school record 24 home runs. You can see in 153 at-bats what he did this season, 359, 14 homers, 48 RBIs. Last year, 24 homers, and 81 RBIs leading the NJCAA. So that's the pick for the Atlanta Braves. Brandon Parker is the name, clearly has some raw power in that bat. And then the Tampa Bay Rays are coming up next. So let's set the scene here as we've reached the home stretch. It's the Rays, the Rockies, the Indians, the Dodgers, Cubs, Brewers, A's, Yankees, Astros, and we'll finish up with the Red Sox. Jim will leave right before the Red Sox pick because he said so he's a man of his word. But anyway, let's get the Tampa Bay Rays pick. This is number 308 overall as we finish up round 10 here today on day 2.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay Rays would like to dedicate this pick to former senior advisor Don Zimmer on the 5th anniversary of his passing. With our selection, take draft ID 129, Jonathan Embry, catcher, Liberty University.
The Tampa Bay Rays select Jonathan Embry, a catcher from Liberty University.
Okay, there's the Rays pick for you, and we can look back at some of the selections made by Tampa Bay. Let's go back to round 1. Greg Jones out of UNC Wilmington, the shortstop, the switch hitter, taken by Tampa Bay. What did you like about him?
Well, he's one of the fastest runners in the draft. He's a switch hitter with some sneaky pop. It draws a lot of walks. One of the better athletes in the college ranks. He had a lot of helium. He had a really nice down the stretch performance, was MVP at the Colonial Athletic Association. These conferences are tripping me up. Tournament. Had a really good game against George Kirby. One of the guys were in to see George Kirby in his last start. And so he was moving up. I think if the season had gone another week and he kept that up, he might have gone in the teens.
Okay, let's get to the Colorado Rockies.
Colorado.
The Rockies select draft ID 4514, Yalowitz, Jack. He's a right fielder from the University of Illinois, Champaign.
The Colorado Rockies select Jack Yalowitz, a right fielder from the University of Illinois, Champaign.
It's the 11th pick we've seen from Colorado. This is round 10, and all 11 picks have been college players, including this one from the University of Illinois. You want to backtrack?
Yeah, I want to go back to Embry, the Rays pick. It can really catch, kind of a late bloomer, which is probably why I haven't heard much about him. He controls the strike zone really well at the plate, good contact skills. He's actually a solid athlete, so he can go out and play the outfield if you needed him to as well. But I think it's the catch and throw skills that probably interested the Rays scout in that area.
Coming out of Liberty University.
Yalowitz is a huge makeup guy, a guy that was, I think, a kind of a favorite of all the area scouts. Does a little bit of everything, not really a plus tool. Hits for a decent average, has a little bit of power. Can run with good instincts, more of a right fielder, some arm strength. So, a lot of 45s, maybe some 50s on the 20 to 80 scouting scale, but the makeup, you're the type of kid, if you're an area scout, you want to give a chance, and you can do a little bit of everything, so you see what happens.
That's the Indians pick, that's the Rockies pick. The Indians pick is coming up next here. They're on the clock, and that clock has expired.
Cleveland.
Cleveland selects draft ID 5432, Hart, Zach, right-hand pitcher, Franklin Pierce College, Wallingford, Connecticut.
The Cleveland Indians select Zach Hart, a right-handed pitcher from Franklin Pierce University.
Okay, we'll work on Zach Hart for you out of Franklin Pierce University. Congratulations to him getting taken 310 overall by the Cleveland Indians. And where would you say the Cleveland Indians system is at right now? Is it a mid-range system?
Jim likes their system a lot. They're sneaky good. Right?
It is a mid-range system now, but it's very, very young. Like, they had, I think, something like 18 teenagers on their top 30 coming into the year. So their system on the rise. I think they're going to be a top 10 system in another year or so.
Okay. Well, that's a good sign for Indians fans that the window of opportunity could be closing, but open up again soon.
Dodgers.
The Los Angeles Dodgers select 2527, Zach Ching, a shortstop from Virginia Commonwealth University.
The Los Angeles Dodgers select Zach Ching, a shortstop from Virginia Commonwealth University.
Okay, Jim, take over for us.
I'm backing up. The two I was late on. Andrew Pratt, the catcher from Lubbock Christian, who Washington took a few picks ago. He's kind of your typical senior sign catcher. He's got some hitting ability, some power, decent arm, stay behind the plate. Catchers are always popular senior sign targets. And then Kyle Hill for Baylor, who the Mariners took with the 20th pick in this round, is a 93 mile an hour relief pitcher. He was their closer. Good slider, high spin rate. So he's a guy that analytic teams like, or they like the spin rates on his stuff.
Zach Ching, by the way, the latest selection out of Virginia Commonwealth University, a shortstop, and another senior selection here, this one by the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Chicago Cubs are up next. Then we have the Brewers, A's, Yankees, Astros, and Red Sox to wrap up round 10. What do you have for us, Cubs?
Chicago.
The Chicago Cubs select draft ID 5494, Hendry Wyatt, a catcher from Antelope Valley College in Lancaster, California.
The Chicago Cubs select Wyatt Hendry, a catcher from Antelope Valley College.
And someone who mostly played in the outfield in high school and now takes over as a catcher in junior college and gets selected as a catcher by the Chicago Cubs. They'll try and see if they can work him into that position.
I'm going to backtrack to the two Zachs in my area. The first is Zach Hart from Franklin Pierce. Pitched very well in relief in the Cape, and that put him on the map. Big kid, 6'4", 3-pitch mix. And then Zach Ching, the shortstop, decent shortstop, solid average defensively. Maybe he moves over to second. There's good contact skills. The bat is a little light, though.
Okay. That's Zach Ching, taken by the Los Angeles Dodgers a couple picks ago. We'll go to the Milwaukee Brewers selection.
Milwaukee.
Brewers select draft ID 800, Floyd Taylor, right-handed pitcher, Texas Tech University, Lubbock, Texas.
The Milwaukee Brewers select Taylor Floyd, a right-handed pitcher from Texas Tech University.
We'll get you some info on Taylor Floyd soon out of Texas Tech University, the right-handed pitcher, taking 313 overall. Oakland A's coming up next. And just a reminder, as we finish up round 10 here, tons of content for you to check out all over MLB.com, videos, articles from these guys, wrap-ups, stuff like that. And then tomorrow we'll be back with you to talk about rounds 11 through 40. We'll take you through those rounds, and those rounds will go quickly. So if you're listening, say, as a player or prospect for your name to be called, that'll just keep going. They'll keep going with those names, and we'll get you set up for that tomorrow. Let's get the Oakland A's pick going.
Oakland.
Oakland selects draft ID 1880, McCall Patrick, a first baseman from Harvard University.
The Oakland Athletics select Patrick McCall, a first baseman from Harvard University.
Yeah, that's the Oakland A's latest pick. We're working on some other information we can get for you on some of the players that have just recently been selected. Patrick McCall, the first baseman out of Harvard, and a tall one at that, 6'6", 205 pounds. Jim?
Going to backtrack to Taylor Floyd, our Texas scouts helping us out here. The Texas Tech right-hander, redshirt junior, low three-quarters, almost side armor, 88 to 91 with a ton of sink from that angle. Lots of sink, and that's really what carries him. Racing junior college is what
junior college selection. The Yankees are up.
Yankees.
The New York Yankees select ID number 8357, Spence Mitch, right-handed pitcher, University of South Carolina, Aiken.
The New York Yankees select Mitch Spence, a right-handed pitcher from the University of South Carolina, Aiken.
Jim Callis, what's the latest pick like for the New York Yankees?
I feel like order's restored. I finally have a guy back on the secret charts here. Yeah, he attracted a little attention early in the season, had a 16 strikeout game. Spent a lot of the season at 86 to 91, but he can show you 95 at times. He's got a cutter and a changeup, so it's a pretty average three-pitch mix. Throws an average amount of strikes. It's kind of an average starter kit, and I mean that as a compliment. I mean, there's no glaring weakness. There's no plus pitch, but it's three competent pitches. He throws strikes. The delivery works. Interesting guy here in the 10th round.
So I'll go back to Wyatt Hendry, who's an athletic catcher, converted to the position relatively recently, was an outfielder in high school and was actually taken to the position pretty well.
Okay, and we've had 13 consecutive selections be college picks here in round number 10, which is often a common theme when we get to this part of the MLB draft. Let's do the Houston Astros.
Houston.
The Houston Astros select draft ID 8071, Stubbs, CJ, a catcher out of University of Southern California. CJ is the younger brother of Houston Astros catcher Garrett Stubbs.
The Houston Astros select CJ Stubbs, a catcher from the University of Southern California.
Yeah, and he caught for the first time this spring. He actually was a pitcher and started out in college as a pitcher and then moved over after having Tommy John surgery to become a catcher and follow along the footsteps of his older brother, Astros catcher Garrett Stubbs.
Yeah, and he hit pretty well for a lot of the year and then kind of tailed off at the end. There's some raw power there, kind of like his brother. His defense is getting better since he's relatively new there. So, kind of an interesting draft there to see if they can continue to work on him and have the catching come along.
And if you're an Astros player and you have a brother that plays ball, especially in college, then you're probably going to get picked by the Houston Astros. Bregman and Correa happened for them last year.
Boston.
Red Sox select redraft 8410, Scott Steven, an outfielder from Vanderbilt.
And with the final selection of Day 2 of the 2019 Rule 4 draft, the Boston Red Sox select Steven Scott, an outfielder from Vanderbilt University.
Wondering what position they were going to announce him at, because he caught last year. We saw Philip Clark go in the 9th round. Clark's our catcher now. Scott's playing left field mostly for him now. He's also got time at first base. He's got some power to him. I don't think he's necessarily a catcher, but he didn't have a lot of time there, so it may be something you want to explore. He had a pretty good Cape Cod League performance a couple summers ago. So I think you're mainly getting power here, but you may in the back of your mind think, maybe we'll try to make this guy a catcher again.
Mm-hmm. Can I backtrack just to give a couple people to real quick?
Let's finish up.
Pat McCall from Harvard is a big, long-levered first baseman with a fairly simple swing, a ton of power. His dad and his grandfather both played in the NFL, not together, mind you. Mm-hmm. And then a little bit more on Stubbs, plus arm, and as I mentioned, it's got better as the year went on behind the plate and has that leadership quality that you like to see in a catcher.
The 2019 MLB Draft Day 2 has concluded. We went through the rounds 3 through 10 here on MLB.com. Scott Braun, Jim Callis, Jonathan Mayo, and let's wrap up what we saw before Day 3 begins, which is rounds 11 through 40. So, some notable names. Is there one that stands out to you?
I think the biggest one for both of us, I'll speak for Jonathan, but I think he's in his head. We haven't talked enough today. Matthew Allen. I think our question was, is he going to even get picked today? Because he had that $4 million price tag. We thought he was the best high school pitcher. It was top high school pitcher on rankings. And he went to the Mets. I don't think we necessarily saw the Mets as a team that were going to take him. We saw them go heavy seniors afterward, but they got two guys who belonged in the upper half of the first round, in Matthew Allen and Brett Beatty. So it looks like a really great draft for the Mets. I love what they did there.
I really like their draft as well. And I'll stay in Florida for one other interesting name that the Reds took in Tyler Callahan, also from Florida. He's got a commitment to the University of South Carolina. We thought he might go at the back end of the first round. Left-handed bat, he can really, really hit. It's hit and power. The question is where he's going to play defensively. He played a lot of third base. He even tried catching. The Reds announced him as a second baseman, which is interesting. They've obviously don't mind moving guys around. Nick Senzel has played pretty much everywhere since he was drafted. Callahan's not athletic like that, but I think when you have a bat like that with all the shifting that you do, you find a